Hello everyone, welcome to our Ashes of Creation live stream. We look a little different. I guess Steven has like a creepy plague mask on.
What?
I don't know what's happening.
You're
not really dressed up.
And I am too. I'm every open office's worst nightmare.
It's true. It's true. Whenever we see one of those masks around, we all run for cover.
Exactly.
I feel like I should be under my desk right now.
If you're new to our streams, this is our monthly game development update where we kind of have everyone from each department. Well, we have someone from each department represent their team, and they kind of come and they show what they've been working on, and we talk about all the things Ashes of Creation and, all that jazz. So first things first is we'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll get into what you're going to expect today. I actually realized that I am the Verdant Keeper, which
it's very green.
Is very green. He gave me lots of green stuff, and we realized that it's very green screeny, so I can't wear all of my costume.
I know, it's unfortunate. We didn't realize it until like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, but
it does look really good. All the other pieces are great. Yeah, look at that.
And stuff
Wow.
that you can't really see on the stream.
Look at the book.
How amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything in that book?
Yes, there's
Spells.
There's things that I've
Druidic
learned.
rituals?
Yeah.
Lots of lore about the weather and growing crops and what seasons to plant what.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
You gotta keep your like almanac on you.
Exactly.
Almond?
Almanac.
Almond.
I know.
He was trying to make a pun.
I was trying to make a pun. You're a Verdant Keeper.
Oh,
Lots of art.
I see
with
where you're going. I'm Margaret Crone. I am your community marketing lead here at Intrepid Studios, and of course,
I'm Jeffrey Bard, lead designer.
he's shedding.
I'm shedding. My fur is going everywhere.
Oh no. I'm Stephen Sharif,
multi-season.
creative director.
Yay! So today we are going to do a quick studio update, then we'll talk with design, and then we'll talk with engineering. We have a new person joining us for engineering. If you've watched a lot of our streams, you've seen him before, but if
Kevin's been on before.
He hasn't been on since I've been here.
Oh, really?
And I've been here for 10 months.
Oh my
Moving on
goodness.
11. I know. And then we'll talk with character art and community, or did I say environment art already? Environment art, character art, and then community.
Bacon!
Community is going to have their own segment this time, which is pretty cool.
Go community.
So communities, we'll have Sarah on. She looks amazing, so I can't wait to show you guys her costume as well. She dressed up as something in the game as well. So for quick updates, we have the last day to qualify for the Armor of the Autumn Night, so make sure that you get that prepared and go get level 50. That's all you need to do. Get the level 50. You can
do it. I believe in you.
And the mask is you can wear the mask separately with other things, which is really cool. In Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, which is fun. And then obviously when you have when we're in the MMO, you'll be able to wear it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything transfers.
It's like a 2-for-1.
A twofer. And then, of course, we will be announcing the Glorious Gourd contest winners in the community section, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. It was really hard to vote.
It was a fun contest. There's some good entries.
There's so many good things. Our community...
I agonized.
Our community is very talented.
It's true.
Yeah, they do amazing stuff. And a little bonus thing, we are doing an Extra Life 24-hour charity live stream. So that will be on November 2nd. That will be this Saturday at 10 a.m. PDT. We're going to have more information tomorrow, so stay tuned on our social channels. You can find us at Ashes of Creation everywhere.
Make sure you support us.
We will...
That's our live stream for Extra Life.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes. There's a lot. If you guys were watching last year or the year before, you know that it's a lot of fun. We have some antics. Who's going to be playing with us tomorrow? Or not tomorrow, Saturday.
I think it's Sam, McP, Alexi, who you've almost... I think the only person they haven't seen on the stream is Sam, right?
No, I think Sam was on the Josh's stream last year.
Okay, a while ago. Not since I've been here.
Yeah.
And then Cliff is joining us, right?
Yep.
And then you are.
Cliff. Yep.
And Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And me.
And you.
Yes, there's a lot of people.
So, but we're gonna have intermissions. So it's gonna be a Pathfinder campaign, D&D campaign. It's gonna be set in the Ashes of Creation universe, but after the gateways have reopened, Kevin McPherson will be DMing it, and he is a very cool DM.
He does voices and stuff.
He does voices and stuff. It's great.
I'm gonna do a voice. I think I'm gonna play. I won't, never mind. It'll be a surprise.
Okay. But we will have scheduled intermissions during the play session where we'll do some board games and stuff as well.
So. Yeah, and we'll do like So we're going to have scheduled breaks, and then we're also going to have we'll have milestones for when we hit those the larger milestones, and we'll also have donation things that you can do during the campaign.
Yeah.
So we'll be announcing all that stuff tomorrow, so stay tuned on our social for that.
Last year was
We have an
crazy.
article that goes
This year
over
will be
to
crazy.
The great thing about this is, obviously it's always for benefiting, the children's hospitals. Our stream goes towards Rady's Children's Hospital here in San Diego, and I think in the past 2 years we did this as a community. We were able to raise around $40,000,
that's pretty nuts.
which is pretty awesome. So it goes to some pretty great causes, and we all get to have a lot of fun and spend time with you guys, and that's really what we look forward to.
And it'll probably get crazy towards the 24-hour mark.
Yeah, we usually definitely get delirious near the end there.
And then also, we might have some other donation things that happen throughout that, are more spontaneous, but at least we'll
When
have
are we
a
starting?
semblance of it.
Is it Saturday at 10?
10 a.m. Saturday at 10 a.m.
So Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure to tune in. We'll start the stream. Oh my gosh, look at Brian.
Yeah. You didn't
Good.
see
It's
it?
I did
perfect.
not.
Yeah.
It is perfect. We need to bring him in.
We'll get everybody in
but it's
at the end.
green screen.
I know, the green screen is going to be the bane of a lot of people's existence.
Maybe
for
we can
today.
just turn it off.
So let's start things off and go right into it. I'm going to kick it off with first the studio update. If Stephen wants to
Yeah,
give us all the
absolutely.
411.
So things are moving along. We're having a blast, working to get sieges ready for players to start testing in. I've been watching some of the progress being made there, and it's pretty cool. I think we're going to be showing some of that stuff today on the stream, just a little tiny bit of it. And we've gotten a couple of new hires over the past month, I believe, as well, which I think we'll probably include in our newsletter. I know that I still owe everybody a quarter newsletter. What is it called? Creative Directors Letter. And that will be coming soon. I'm just waiting on a few things to include in that. But things are going very well. We are working forward and are excited to show you guys some stuff that we've got going on. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move right into design.
I'm representing design today. So we've been working hard on Siege, as Steven's been saying. We are kind of finalizing our destruction engine. We've kind of finally decided on where we're going to go with that. So we're getting that implemented and kind of ready to go. We have been working a lot actually on siege engines and siege weapons. It's kind of a new thing for us in terms of vehicles. We kind of played a little bit with it with the caravan system, but we're kind of really digging super deep into it now, making sure they feel good and drive good and feel like big, huge things that can destroy walls.
Yeah,
So,
and how does this testing affect the MMO when you're working on it, and
Well-
as well as when people actually play
Yeah.
through it on Castle?
well, sort of big picture, right, is that we want castle sieges in the MMO side of things, right? So this is kind of like a big test in terms of trying to figure out how to balance it correctly, what kinds of layouts and level design make sense for these castles. How does 100 versus 100 person match actually play out? What kind of abilities work well in it? What kind of abilities don't? So that's kind of big picture, and then the small picture, right? We start working on our classes. We start working on the actual siege weapons. Those siege weapons will pretty much be exactly the same in both products.
And I think one of the biggest fundamental tests that Castle Sieges will provide for our siege system in the MMORPG is really functionally how those strategic points of interest that players capture, those objectives on the battlefield, how they interact with the overall strategy of taking a castle, how players are dynamic about moving around the battlefield and tactical in choosing which of those.
Right, and having real choices there, right? Where the strategy changes based on what control points you're taking and kind of what you're going to do at the start. What's going to be your first hit? What's going to be your last hit? Which control points are most important to you? So that'll change on a match-by-match basis.
And so you brought us a little video.
We did.
I do want to say before we show this is that it's definitely a tech demonstration of what they're working on. It's not It's definitely not final. And I guess you can kind of talk about like what this demonstrates and showcases.
Yeah, so this is like beyond the sort of prototype phase and more into the implementation phase. So these things are getting ready to be put in for real. The phase that happens after this is going to be the polish phase. So it's cleaning it up, making everything kind of final in terms of what the art looks like, in terms of what the actual feel looks like, in terms of the effects, in terms of like things like camera shake, right? So all these things are things that we need to polish and tighten up, and this is kind of like our first phase of implementation. So I think you see right here, there's a trebuchet shooting at the walls. We just missed, and it's reloading right now. There's an actual character in there firing at this other character.
And you see he's driving around.
Yep, he's driving around. He's like, oh, I gotta move it.
Whoa, is that thing does that have four-wheel drive?
It does have four-wheel drive.
Wow.
Yeah. It's important in order to get over all the
can't
terrain.
aim though.
Oh yeah.
This is not and this is Brian Ferguson driving it, so you can blame him.
Yeah, I also told him that his video capturing is terrible.
It's better than mine. It's better than mine. It's certainly, not quite Tristan level, but
oh my gosh, Tristan's amazing.
Tristan is amazing.
He does
but he has a lot of time to do that too.
That's true.
So this is just
Brian
kind of a
did it
quick
really
thing
fast.
that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We also have mobile ballistas that drive around and shoot anti-infantry stuff.
Do we have that?
We did have that, but I don't think it was quite good enough to appear into this.
Sad.
But they're pretty cool. They're a little bit faster than the big siege engines.
Yeah, they're huge.
Well, they're going to shrink a little bit.
Okay, I was going to say
they're very big right now.
I meant to type something. I was like, that seems a little big.
It is a little big. That's one of the things. Again, implementation comes first, then polish comes later. We're going to find the right size for it, but it will be about half the size that it is right now. And the trebuchets will actually be quite a bit bigger. We're going to size those up by about another 50% or so, just so we get that huge. You see this huge thing coming at you as a defender, and it inspires terror.
Because I know people will sit and pause every little detail of that video. There are kind of like these circles on the right-hand side underneath the map. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Circles on the right-hand side. Oh, those are the control points. Those are the capture point UI. Again, that is engineering art. That is not final art by any means, but it allows us to sort of track what the state is on each capture point. Right now, it's just blue and red to determine attackers and defenders, but they will be much prettier at the end of the day once we're done with it. But that allows us to get in the game and actually play it out and see what happens and change our strategy based on what control points are being taken.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But yeah.
Anything else you want to share with us and talk about?
No, I mean, we're hard charging, trying to get this siege mode done. We're working on a lot of different abilities too. We found out that a couple of the warrior abilities don't quite work right the way that we wanted them to, so we're going to change those up. Same with the mage. They were kind of samey kind of abilities. We wanted to change those up a little bit too. So, as we play test, we find these things out and we adjust what we're doing to make the game more fun. So
cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to give people a little bit of lore on the Verdant Keeper?
Oh, I can do that. So the Verdant Keeper,
I know the lore junkies out there will love that.
Which is what Maggie is portraying right here. They are a set of a sect of people that keep track of all the things that are necessary to have successful crops and to grow things and to make sure that the cultivation of these things allows a society or a civilization to keep growing, right? So in the transition from Vera to Sanctus, these people had to kind of relearn how to grow things without magic, right? There were druid-like people before, and now we kind of have to go into this place where there's no magic to support those things. So they spend their time learning about the world and learning about it in sort of a scientific way, and keeping track of all of these seasons, of the different years, of the decades, of the centuries that go by to sort of create a map for themselves and for the civilizations that they support. Kind of a means to be successful in growing crops and keeping people healthy and happy.
He's like, it's very green. Everything should be shades of green. And I was like, basically, now I just disappear.
Oh, she's gone. Where did she go? Maggie.
It's a cloak of invisibility.
That's so cool, actually.
Actually, it's kind of cool. I had a little leaf pin with it, but it doesn't really work to wear a cloak that actually makes me not appear on here. Although maybe some people like that.
I did.
Yeah, so anything else you want to share with us?
No, I think that's about it. The bear will be leaving.
Yeah, bye, bear.
But he will
I will come
return.
back. I will return.
He will return. We need tigers and lions. But we get a witch instead. So come on over here. So anybody who has seen our Extra Life stuff in the past may have seen McP before.
Yes, that is such a cool costume.
It looks amazing. Come get closer.
That looks amazing. I didn't even see the buttons on that. Holy moly!
They're beautiful.
Yeah, those are cool.
And your
I like
staff.
the scepter. What is that? A staff or scepter? Or what is it?
It's a little rod or staff.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
awesome.
Nice and happy.
He sent me like multiple hats. And he's like, "Which one should I wear?" I was like, "This one. Which one should I wear?" Haha.
Which hat?
Yeah, I like this one the most. I think it has a lot of character.
It does.
Yeah, I like it.
Though I am also confused as to which side I flop it.
Which side is?
Are you a
which side is-
graduated witch
which
or an
side is your
ungraduated
best?
witch?
Graduated.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Is that how? Does that actually? Is that a thing? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I've
You
never
has
heard
to
of that.
pass the witch trials.
That's another thing.
Made it on through.
There you go.
So tell us first who you are and what you do in case people don't know.
Sure, I'm Kevin McPherson, though pretty much everyone calls me McP.
McP.
I'm the lead programmer on the Ashes of Creation.
Someone called you
MMO
MCP,
project.
one of our like partners that
Yes,
our,
the Master
our
Control
publishing
Program.
partners. They call him
Master
MCP,
Control.
and I just kept laughing so hard because we all were calling him McP, but that person just kept calling you MCP, and I was like, all right, he's sticking with it.
Nice. It's just McP. It's something that I got called by Brad McQuaid like 20 years ago. And
Now
it
his
just
son
stuck.
has taken on the legacy of being Mini
Yeah.
McP.
He's Mini McP now.
We gotta have
Mini
him on.
McP.
Though he's taller than me, so.
He's more like,
He's still Mini McP.
yeah, he's still Mini McP.
He's your prodigy.
Yeah.
It's my boy.
So talk to us about what the engineering team has been up to.
So it's been very busy for us this month. We went live with the early access Apocalypse,
Yes.
and that
On the engineering side, that was definitely a
it's
feat.
quite a lot of work. We launched on multiple platforms, and then we also have our own patcher downloader installer on the site. So that was of course, this is our testing ground for the MMO.
Right.
And so all of the things that we were able to learn as far as optimizations and squaring away all our account services and backend, this was critical.
Yeah.
So this has helped us immensely.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Can you talk a little bit about maybe like 2 or 3 ways that it is helping us?
Sure.
Because like not everyone understands like how that works,
Sure.
right?
So when I worked at other companies, there was an established platform, for example. So there's account services, there's already code and things that exist so a user could log into a game and play it.
Yeah.
There's already a pipeline for buying products. Let's say you want a really cool piece of armor, right? A visual set or something. That all exists, but in our case, it didn't. We're a new studio, so all of that has to be constructed from the ground up. In addition, how you distribute your game, whether it's a patcher or on some other platform, all of that in other companies I've worked at generally existed. We had to, of course, do all that as well. And then when you have a product without either simulated bots or a large number of players, it's very hard to test big scale problems. And so this could be numerous performance problems on the server backend or on the client when more and more clients are visible on your client. So in all these ways, from an engineering perspective, it was necessary and critical, and it's helped us enormously. Now we have those systems in place, and we were able to optimize the dickens out of the Apex.
I think one of the big components. Excuse me. One of the big components, moving forward as we approach Alpha 1, is that we wanted to make sure that the MMO experience, the MMORPG experience that our alphas and betas will be, are going to be representative of something that's enjoyable to the players.
That's
It's
right.
not going to be like a true, really bad kind of alpha experience, because we have to compete with these Eastern ports that come over, and they're really not
That's
alphas, but they brand them as alphas.
Right.
But
But they're fully finished
But they're
products.
fully finished
Yeah.
products. So one of the great things that Apocalypse provides, is that we've discussed before, is we get to fine tune those things so that when the alpha comes, we're not dealing with the problems we saw in APOC.
Exactly. We got feedback in the last, in the last couple of weeks. We changed our melee combat, our gap closing, just based on feedback
Right.
from players, and that could only have happened in this sort of case. And so, as we go into the MMO, if we're going to create fun, engaging systems, we really have to play test them first in some sort of sandbox environment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could get it wrong. We don't want to do
Absolutely. And those of you guys who have been participating in, helping us
Yes, thank you.
collect that data, thank you guys. We appreciate it. And it will go to improve the quality of experience that your fellow players will experience with the alpha and beta of the MMORPG.
Part of our process too with this testing bed is gathering data through logging and various statistics. And we are able to bring that together and then look at which systems need improvement. Sometimes data will tell you a lot that you're not necessarily picking up. We play the game all the time as we test it internally, so in a way you get used to a product.
But I
and you
think
get
the way that
immune.
we play it is we know what the functionality is,
Yes.
so sometimes we don't think about the outside of the box things.
Exactly.
Like another user will hop in and play, and they're doing stuff that we're like, we would have never thought of doing that thing. Like hop around the rock 10 times and jump this way, and now all of a sudden you're under the ground and you're like, great.
Exactly.
Or you have
right.
like superhuman jump powers and you're like,
Right.
how did you do that? I don't know.
Yeah, all of that comes through testing. The other thing we worked on besides the release of the early access was we did a lot of automation refinement. So we have systems where we spawn bots, basically they're headless clients, and they go onto our servers by the hundreds or thousands, and that gives us that ability to test at scale without having to organize a large
Our
play
internal
test.
servers, yeah.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then we, of course, like I spoke about, we finalized the new melee combat gap closing. That was a lot of work and a tremendous amount of fantastic work by the animation team. We worked on party and friends fixes. So our party and friending system had a few bugs, so we worked through those. We have leaderboards coming online. So one of our programmers, Russell's been doing a lot of work on that front. And that's going to be a fantastic thing, of course, for the MMO as well. You can see, am I the top person at farming crops? Am I the top person in arena
I
combats?
know.
or
That's
whatever it
I
is?
want to see who the best mushroom farmer is going to be.
Everyone, who's the top fisherman,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Who's the top
And then
rating?
like everyone wants to, like if you buy stuff from that person, does it give you bonus?
One of the
That'd be
things
interesting.
I've missed when I've played MMORPGs are the ability to define specific systems in the game and see who's doing what in those systems.
Exactly.
Right, and that's
Right.
what we want to be able to provide.
Exactly.
I like doing infographics with that. So I'm obviously a marketing person, so I love analytics, and I love doing the infographics where it's like, this is how many people died. You could fill them up with you could fill pools of Cheetos with this type of thing
Exactly
in
right.
the game,
Right.
that kind of stuff, and it cracks me up. I love that stuff.
It's fun. We also are working on our armory cleanup and refactor. So we're always iterating on our user interface based on feedback, which of course also translates to the MMO, because user interface is something you want to work and function perfectly well and look pretty, but you don't want it to be obtrusive and be everywhere and spoil your immersion in the world. We worked on our patcher and installer. We worked on many bug and performance fixes.
Yeah.
We're also prepping now for the move to Unreal 4.231, which is we try and keep as current with the Unreal Engine as possible.
Do you know
since we're
some
on
of
Unreal
the
Engine.
cool things that are coming in with that new?
Yeah, so the supports Niagara, which is their new particle system. So that gives our environment artists and effects artists the ability to do much more with particle systems.
Jim's gonna love it.
And it also is better performing. We also have a new destruction system that's in a sort of beta state called Chaos. And so we're also looking at that. That provides a lot of really interesting things for us in light of future castle sieges and things of that nature down the road.
Is it a ladder?
Chaos is a ladder
Chaos is a ladder. Thank you.
for little finger fingers out there.
Of course, Steven.
So we support, but which ladder?
Which ladder? Yeah.
Supporting the environment team with those destruction options is critical. So we want to always provide them with tools, whether it's a node building tool or destruction tool, so they're able to get the best result
Yeah.
for us visually. And also they're extremely
speeds up
good at
our processes
optimizing.
too, right?
Absolutely
Yeah.
does. Then we've, of course, as you've seen in the video, we've been working on refining siege weapons and making them drivable as vehicles. We hope to have other slots on them so that other individuals more than one individual can be on a
You'll have
siege
like
weapon.
some of those will have like other extra like guns that you can shoot on the side
You
to
can
help
defend
it. Yeah.
Right. So then we've also, in light of that, how do you deploy these things? So we've refined our deployable system. So
And
now,
that also affects other things like
That's
class things that maybe like you can drop something down on the ground like a med pack or like mines or things like that. So
right. So you can drop down things in the MMO, and we've coded it so that basically anything could be a deployable once you set up sort of its collision rules. So now you can deploy siege weapons from a schematic. You can deploy traps from a schematic. And people are able to deploy other things from a schematic, including
cute bunnies,
even homes, right?
Homes,
or
buildings,
etc.
processing plants.
That's right. All of that.
Oh yeah, that'll be super
Which is critical for the economy and for your self ownership. Having that skin in the game when you're talking about the
some
node
of you guys out there who participated in really early testing with Apocalypse may have seen before we disabled them some of the deployable buildings that were present, and there were like a few types of those before we took them out.
Yeah, we had a couple forts, ramps, things of that nature, so that you could actually build ramps and get onto a tower. So on the platform side, they've been just optimizing and doing work for just making sure that all of our account systems are smooth and that we catch any remaining bugs, if any. So they've done a fantastic job on that front. We've been extremely stable. And then, of course, continued work on the seamless world networking solution for the game and the way that we do dynamic load balancing as well.
Can you talk a little bit about that from a layman's terms for somebody who doesn't understand maybe what that provides for a player in the MMO?
Speaking binary.
Sure. Nice. 110. So
I mean, I know what it means, but some people don't know the.
So Unreal Engine has a good basic networking layer. It's very robust and it supports a lot of entities. But for an MMO, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of players and or NPCs in one locale.
Yeah.
So in order to support that, we have to have a more distributed system where we have different server processes that are sort of running different groups of entities, and then they communicate through managers or to each other, and then sort of are able to upscale or downscale based on the load. So if nobody's in that zone and it's 4 a.m. or something, that particular locale,
we don't need to put
we don't need a lot of
on it. Yeah.
But if it's 12 noon on a Saturday and it's a city and everyone's there to do trade and business, or there's a siege going on, we need a lot of horsepower on the server side in order to support that. So that's probably the most complicated thing of building the MMO is that piece of technology, and so we continue forward with that. It's fun, and we've done this before on other MMOs, but there's new technology and new approaches now that we want to put.
As a matter of fact, you were a programmer on one of the teams at your previous company that still holds the record to this day.
Yeah.
Right? Of most players on screen in a single area.
Yeah, I think it does. PlanetSide 2.
I worked on that product too.
Yeah, Margaret and I both worked on it, as did several of our coworkers. I think holds a record at like 1,200 players on a single server instance.
No, I thought it was 2,000 or something. Maybe it's 1,200.
But I would really love to go much higher than that, because the single server instance is sort of like the bottleneck, right? We want to have multiple of these server instances communicating together so that we get parallelism, we get that parallel processing. So that's really the goal. So that's what engineering's been up to in the past month, and I hope you guys check out the Extra Life live stream.
Can you give us a preview? Can you give us like a little maybe description of the setting?
Are you going to dress like this? No, I'm just kidding.
No, probably not. I'll probably have to dress extremely comfortably.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
it's going to be 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I should probably wear something comfy. I was like, should I dress up? No.
Always comfy.
I don't want
So the preview would be is that this is set some 50 years after the reopening of the portals, and so the various races have come in and they've established some cities and some smaller sort of sibling cities under their node area of influence. And so the players are going to be part of essentially the front guard militia, and there's different factions depending on what sort of their role is, right? There's a mages college and a priestly order and a martial order and a ranger order, which is more roguish, and these various organizations are trying to solidify the node's control of the area, and there's going to be a lot of different threats that have to be done with.
Nice.
And it's very sandbox, so it's really up to the participants in the stream to determine which threats they want to go after and in what order. And there are repercussions for going after some and not others.
So are we going to be, well,
Heal me.
you can buy that as a charitable donation if you want to see Margaret die. No, but so question, like as a player, right? Do we know each other beforehand, or are we gonna part of some organization?
So some of you will know each other. Some of you are going to know of each other by
Okay.
reputation, because I'm starting the players at probably level 6, a little higher level this time rather than the newbie level,
Oh, okay.
because I want some
How
establishment.
many level 6 characters do I have to make?
Hopefully a lot.
Ideally 3
Oh
There you
no.
go.
to start.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going home, guys.
How
I'm gonna make
ruthless
some
on the
characters.
scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, the most ruthless, 1 being a candy ass GM. Like, where are we gonna be?
We have to last
Probably
24
negative
hours.
5. No,
We have to last 24 hours. So.
no. So I'm sure our players will help it to be a 12.
Nice.
Right,
Yes.
I'm sure they will. So I like to have it more on the hard side, on the difficult side. So
All right,
it will be
cool.
But I'm
challenging.
sure they're going to donate to make monsters appear and all that threats. and
Ooh.
things like
They
that.
may. So
That'd be
Margaret,
awesome.
Margaret is setting up
I'm
the
gonna have a
whole
list of
scheme
stuff,
and the
but-
list, and
Ooh,
because
I like
I don't
this.
know this anywhere near
Can
as
they
well.
deck out the treasure on the monster based on difficulty,
I
maybe?
mean, that's
They
up
can
to
donate
Margaret.
for, like, we'll have a list of stuff
Okay.
tomorrow.
I mean, I'm all for
But
they take the
treasures
encounter
for sure.
up based on a donation, and then, but there's a commensurate better reward, right? There should be some.
I'm so
give
excited
and
for
take.
Saturday to play in this campaign.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
it should be
chaos.
quite fun. We're going to use a Pathfinder game system because we're very familiar with it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
Cool.
So that's what we've
Awesome.
been up
Well,
to.
thank you so much for
Thanks,
joining us.
McPhee.
you.
I think it's the
And
first time I've...
happy Halloween to everyone.
Happy
Yeah,
Halloween.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we have this beautiful scenery here. There's a lot going on if you really pay attention to it.
What is that?
There's a lot.
Oh,
I
wow,
don't
look
know.
at that.
What is that?
It looks like a pumpkin. And a lantern.
Next up is going to be our environment team. So bringing... Oh my god, I just...
Yes!
Hello.
Hello! Oh my god! It's happening!
Here's how dirty I am. I'm living under
I
a
don't know if
bridge
they
in
can
Tijuana.
hear you.
You were living under a bridge in Tijuana?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just didn't have enough time to shower. And
Oh
Get my stuff
no!
I don't know if everyone can hear him though. That's my only worry. I guess I'm in the AV channel. Coast can let me know.
I'm Peter. I'm
You have to
Peter.
prove-
Oh, you're Peter?
The magical candy.
Oh, what is that?
Like, you know, when I was
Is that
dealing with like Easter.
Is that
Like,
supposed to be mad?
after Easter happens, what else do I do? I don't know. So then there's two
I'm
doors
just
I
gonna
know.
leave.
Is that
This is like, if I was HR, I'd be like, I'm out.
Is this
Peace,
legal?
guys.
I got
See
stuff to
you
do.
is this
later.
even legal?
This is not legal.
Is this legal? What is this? Let me
You guys
see
want
this.
some candy?
No, stop. Oh no! What is
It's
it?
really good
it's,
stuff.
It's like the rock candy.
This is okay. Just fair disclosure. This is actually candy.
Yeah.
This is nothing else.
I can't even breathe in.
Yeah, I don't think we can hear you either. Oh,
right.
They said they can hear him a little bit.
Somebody said.
As long as you're loud, it's good.
Oh,
Sorry.
Welcome, Bacon.
Hello.
I
think
love
it's just
your
like, I'm gonna
costume.
make
I love my
Maggie's
costume too.
Yeah,
The
really
helmet's
good
on. It's
costume.
kind of scary now.
It's
it's seen better.
horrifying.
I remember
Better
one year
day.
you were a Pac-Man.
That's right.
That was a
That's
costume. That was a
a good one.
costume too.
That was a good one.
So,
Hello.
introduce yourself real quick. Tell us what you do, and
Everybody
then we'll
knows
get
who
right
I am.
into-
I'm
Not
that guy right
everybody
there.
does.
See
There's
that?
new people.
So there's a name right
always
there.
new
It says.
people.
It says, what does it say? Michael Bacon.
I was supposed to put
Lead
environment
arts.
dude.
Dude.
Environment dude.
Dude.
So tell us what your team has been up to and what you've been working on.
Oh.
And then whenever you're ready, we can show your assets. Just let us show your assets.
And she's like worried about me again.
What is
She's
happening?
worried about me.
Our
Like,
assets.
Oh my gosh!
nice.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Margaret.
My mind was my
Or
mind
out of
was
the hole.
under a bridge in Tijuana. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
You're like a rabbit hole. I
That's
don't know.
right. A rabbit hole.
Get it out of the rabbit hole.
Okay, so anyway, it's a lot of stuff. It was APOC, or launched that snow map, which was really cool. Yeah, and then Castle Siege.
Castle Siege.
And then MMO stuff.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you, Megan!
Bye, Bacon.
Where do we go from here? I don't know.
So Bacon has actually some really cool art to show us.
I do.
So if I want to talk about that while
Yeah,
you're
let's
showing it
just
off.
do that.
So we did show a little sneak peek of this in the newsletter. If you checked it out, I believe,
Yep, this
from
is.
last time.
I don't even know what this thing's called. It's some sort of man.
It basically
auto-
spins and then it
Is this
throws
thing
out
all right? Is this thing an auto? Just
Yeah.
keep going.
Oh my
Hope
god, I thought we were doing it the other way.
No, this Tristan made a video.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, this is the Castle Siege, kind of destruction props, kind of like a variable, kind of areas that we've exploded and, kind of the stuff left. We can't completely destroy the castle because then you wouldn't be able to get to the top of it. And
Yeah.
the siege stuff. So these are kind of ways to, get it to look like it's
I
all
like
destroyed.
how when these bridges get destroyed, they become somewhat obstacle courses.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be able to jump through things.
Yeah, so just kind of giving that, flavor of just kind of mass destruction and that kind of thing. The bridge is like 3 variable states. So it goes from like you could kind of walk over it, but it's kind of messed up. And then holes in it, obstacle course. And the other one is like it kind of falls almost completely sideways.
Oh,
and
wow.
You have to kind of go up the little beam support.
Yeah,
that's
these
left.
destruction looks great.
Yeah, so these are kind of like the large scale stuff. We're kind of using a hybrid system, some
Now the
model
tops
stuff,
of these
some
turrets, they have those, siege weapons for the defenders, and those
Yes.
get destroyed
Yeah, those get
and
destroyed.
get removed.
Yep, that is
That's
correct.
cool.
That is correct.
Ripperonis.
So anyway, just a lot of fun stuff there.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, you guys have been playing around with destruction a lot lately. Right?
Yeah, well, we keep going through like a lot of
lot of
different
fun.
kind of various paths, just finding what works best for the gameplay, plus what looks coolest.
Performance.
And the great thing about these, the destruction that you've been, you want
Oh yeah, then we jump. This is like more like the MMO, kind of working on modular sets. This is like the dwarf stuff. This is kind of possible.
Yeah, so if you guys look at our building
Concepts
tool
for
dev diaries, you saw like
different
all
wall
the little
treatments.
pieces, and
Yeah,
so like now
yeah.
you guys are making those pieces for
And
the
these are
developers.
for the Dunir.
Linear dwarves,
Right,
yeah.
the Dunir. So that's modular
Oh, then
pieces.
we're back to Castle Siege.
Oh, we're back to castles.
I don't know. Tristan did this. He put them.
Yeah, so even big gates is kind of, adding like kind of 2 different types. One that kind of prevents siege weapons from going, and this is more like the personnel gates that keep everything from getting through. So it's kind of
Yeah,
where we're at
that's
with
cool.
that.
Down.
Oh, and this is
Why is Devin's face on here?
Because I wanted to accent the
I was
man.
actually-
He's,
I was
because he's so
actually
talented. Everybody like on
Look
the
at his
Discord,
rocks.
everybody on Discord and stuff keeps thinking that like they keep assuming that I do all this stuff. I don't.
No, he does.
And
He
this
does
is
a lot of our
this
rocks.
is like
that
one
are-
of our rock star
our
artists.
terrain.
Yeah,
does
master.
Amazing terrain stuff.
Yeah, he's amazing at like
Yeah.
biomes and natural
Those rock
environment
faces
stuff.
look really good now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the little cave he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all this
That
stuff's
cave
coming
might be
together
spotlighted in
really,
some
really
other
nicely.
videos.
They're even
That
out of
cave-
order. Who does this stuff?
Tristan put it together.
Hey, stop throwing Tristan under a bus. It's not nice.
Nice. And I didn't
I
put
don't
this
think you-
in.
I don't think you
Where did this
numbered
one
them.
come from?
This is what is this one?
I don't know.
One of the
like
trenches.
This
the
is trenches.
trenches,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is trench stuff. Yeah, so I
Oh
guess
yeah, the rock looks great.
Yeah,
in
so yeah, there's a
game.
lot more rock.
One thing I do, on the project, the environment team just kills it. Every environment, you guys do such a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You're very well.
Yeah, they're an amazing team.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Tristan, for putting these other shots in.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tristan.
That
Yay!
was more than I would put in there.
No, that's good.
No, it's really
They're
cool.
like.
You know what that
really great
reminds me
shots.
of? It reminds me of a city that I played in one game. It reminds me of like Goddard from Lineage 2 a little bit.
Mhm.
Except for prettier.
Wow!
Wow, let's bring
Well,
down the
Hey, I
spec.
worked on that product too.
They were like
so-
20 years ago.
I know.
I hope you look better than that.
I
We're
know.
not doing our job if we're not doing that. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of cool stuff here.
Yeah, this looks
Yeah, and if you
great.
look really close, you can see like some of the other things that they have going on for
Okay.
the level design.
Oh, now we have to jump.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the Runkai orcs. We kind of we were going down a path with those concepts, and we were kind of vanilla-fying them, I guess, a little bit. And so I kind of took Ryan, and then we just kind of pushed it way further past, you know, embracing the kind of Asian influence and kind of
Ryan does
pushing past it
amazing
into something.
art.
Yeah, Ryan's.
He's amazing.
Absolutely.
And this
Yeah,
kind of
so,
stuff
like, all the
helps
roofing
determine
stuff
what
is-
those little pieces look like, right?
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
guys are creating.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
All the details that make up the silhouettes of these buildings, so.
And in the past, you've seen a lot of, you know, dwarven ones, and now you're seeing a lot of orc ones. So it's been pretty cool.
I saw Cambiguous just said, "Weeb orcs unite." Oh, that's great.
Oh my goodness gracious.
That's hilarious. No, these look very good. I like the.
Oh, this one's like one of my favorites. I don't
Yeah,
know why,
that's-
but I love it. I want to
That
go in
kinda
there.
reminds
I
me
want
of
to
like
see
a
what's
strong-
a
inside.
mixture of like
Yeah.
Dothraki and like some Asian influences as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
It has that very what are those like towers called that have?
Good.
Yeah, pagoda. It
Pagodas.
reminds me of like pagoda stuff, and like the intricate fine
That's a
detailing.
great world wonder in Civilization 5. I'm just saying.
Well, now
Those
we're
are
getting into like
cool.
the much larger kind of city structures for
Wow.
this race.
Somebody said,
I cannot
do
wait to
those have
explore
any
these.
anime posters inside the buildings?
Anime posters?
No.
No. They do not.
You
I'm
might
sorry.
you might have the scrolls. You know the scrolls. What is it called? Where it's like painted, written. Where it's like they like.
Skulls?
No, it's like the writing. It's a calligraphy, but not.
Calligraphy.
They have their own version of that. That's
Oh,
like,
okay.
Scroll writing.
no, there's a name for it.
The Sumie.
Sumie.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
Oh,
for.
look at
See,
that.
I was like, there's a
Check
name
out that
for
big
it.
brain.
Wow. The weeb power is strong.
And these are like the outer
Yeah,
wall.
really. Is Ian a weeb?
Kind of
That's the
metropolis.
question.
I don't know. Ian, are you?
Oh.
He's like, so Ian.
Oh,
runs
here
all
we
of our
go.
All right, then we jump
Oh,
into
yeah.
the KLR. These are sort of like the phase 2 of our kind of concept path, which is basically taking kind of the thumbnail assets that we have for structures and things and kind of putting them into full color comps, so we get like the full kind of visual of like.
And you've seen these buildings in some of the other concept art pieces, like the
yeah,
styles.
yeah,
So now
we've been
putting
showing
these
them
into-
like the individual
Yeah.
sort of
These
structures.
these composition art pieces really kind of give direction to layout and design feature when you are constructing these nodes at the different stages. Right?
Yeah, it's like an overview.
Yeah.
Kind
You
of
can see the
like-
difference between an
You see the
encampment
material, the
versus
color,
a city, a
you
town.
know, arrangement.
People were wondering about the because obviously our PI people get they get a little sneak peek of stuff sometimes. They're curious about the banners and what the different emblems mean.
Oh,
I'm sure that's
Hey.
more. That's
that'll
more,
come out a little bit
Yeah,
later.
that'll be
That's
out
more-
later.
That'll be later.
Hey, I gotta.
We don't want to reveal
I'm trying
everything.
for you guys, okay? Like,
Unbelievable.
hey, you know, doing my job. I'm repping community. So
Yay.
anything else you want to like add? I know we just
Nope.
saw a lot of amazing art pieces.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing about being an artist, you just show it, you know. It's like, there's
Yeah.
not so much about talking about it. Besides, I got a lot of rock stuff.
Oh my god.
Stop!
I think I'll just have a dollar rate.
There you go. There you go.
Hey.
Yeah, you guys do amazing work. The environment team, obviously, every time people hop into the game, even the map that you guys just made recently for the Force of Varenthia, you know, some people just kind of have ran around and looked at it and just taken lots of screenshots and taken video, and it is
Yeah, it's a really good looking
yeah, it's
look.
really beautiful.
Yeah,
So-
definitely like the whole hot cold thing with we got the big giant firewall with all the snow stuff. It's,
The MMO
Yes.
world is basically, I'm like, can I live here? Just stay here. I'll live here forever.
yep, that's our job.
Yeah. So thank you so
We
much.
want you to stay
Yay.
That's
until
the
I gotta
plan.
go. I gotta go.
Thank you, Bacon.
Bringing
All right.
we're going to continue down the art path, but we are bringing on our character
Don't forget
art.
your bath
Character.
salts.
All right. Peace out.
Oh my god, you guys are going to give me a heart attack. Welcome, Keith.
Welcome.
Welcome.
going?
How are you
Hey,
doing?
Keith.
Good.
How
That's
you
gonna
doing,
be
buddy?
Where's your costume?
That's
or
a
are
hard
you,
one to
are
follow.
You, is this what you're cosplaying?
I guess I'm a character artist. Cosplaying as a
Here,
character
you want
artist.
this?
Okay, you can wear it on your face. Don't be careful, there's a thing on it.
That's
Like,
actually would serve
Just
as
don't
a
eat
great
it.
chess piece. A good chess.
Yeah, it would make a good, like,
Like a
Yeah. All right, we'll
or
do
like
it.
a
heavy art. Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
talking about.
in.
yeah, I was trying to find, like, stuff that made sense for what what
Yeah,
Jeff gave me as my character details. So.
Well, Chris was supposed to be on the live stream today,
yeah.
but he's sick.
Don't
so.
call him out.
Well,
He's sick too.
No one would
yeah,
know.
everyone's sick.
Why are we all sick?
Well, I would have dressed up if I'd known I was on the live stream.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
was saying.
Oh, I see.
You're wearing the best Magic the Gathering player uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
Keith.
That is true.
See, there you go.
It's more like I thought you were being ZBrush, you know. Like.
Yeah, well, that too.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do on the team for people who are maybe first watching this. And first time.
I am a senior character artist, and basically I'm mostly making armors and races, so for the MMO. So that's
One
what
of the
I'm
most
at.
talented people I've ever seen. Keith is
thank you.
unbelievably talented when it comes to creating these awesome, not just designs,
Sometimes
but
he
actually.
doesn't even use concept art. He's just like,
I know,
"I'm
he's
gonna
just
make
like
this thing."
free-handing it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, Keith, how do you
Yeah.
do this?
of Flangler fame.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome.
I just throw a lot of teeth in things. you know?
Yes, that's
there you go.
That's safe.
Also,
Safe.
Toast would like us to know that she did say what it was in chat, like the writing style.
Oh, okay.
She's like, no judgment. I was like, oh, she's judging me. Lies. Well, let's talk a little bit about what your team has been up to, and then I know you have some things to showcase as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, mostly we're sort of split. So half of us are working on, I don't know what we call it in the community, but like our promise board basically. So we're working on a lot of the
Rewards.
mounts and the rewards that people have already purchased, so we can show people, the final asset.
Yeah.
Like so, and it works out really well for the MMO because we're doing all the different mount types.
And the variants of them.
So
yeah.
we're knocking out all the skeletons and all the animations for them,
And
so
you
that
make other creatures from them.
we can
yeah.
make all the similar creatures will
Yes.
go on and share animations right away. So we'll have a lot of stuff to show like real quick,
Yeah, and the great thing about it is like, as you guys are, as you guys have categorized and defined these, master skeletons for each of these types of creature types or whatever, a lot of that legwork done early on, as you guys have already done, sets the pace for much quicker, development and showing these as they come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a lot of the like the real crazy ones, like we have
Sorry.
some crazy mounts. So getting that stuff taken care of early is like the best way, because then you can really test like, well, what's a giant mount look like? What's a small
I
mount
might
look
have
like?
designed one that has like 1,000,000 wings.
Yeah, there's a pet with like
Sorry.
9 necks, like it's
I didn't do that. That's Steven.
It's
the, like, the
yeah.
Are you making fun of the
Hydra.
swan?
Yeah.
Don't make fun of the
I'm
Hydra
just saying, I
Swan.
I'm
didn't
not
make
making
that
the
one.
That Hydra Swan is going to be badass.
It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
That's all Jinsey.
Yes.
I want to get Jinsey on the live stream. She's so amazing, and she dressed up today.
Yeah, she like disappeared when you were looking for people all of a sudden.
No, she said hi to me because she was like, "Chris isn't gonna be here," and I was like, "No, I don't want to pressure her, but she's
Next time.
She's amazing. She
Yeah,
does
she's
so
very
much
good.
cool stuff. Yeah.
And she
Very quick.
animates
And-
too, so she
yeah.
modeled I think we're showing the what's it called, the Day Strider?
Yeah.
I think do we have the animations?
yeah. Let's go ahead and show all your art. So if you want to walk us through everything.
Sure. So this is a concept by Jeff for the Renkai armor. It's all based around one set of armor. So we've done the KLR and the Dunir version of it, and this is what it would look like. Concept of what it would look like on the Renkai. Here is a shield done by Chris Atkins. Oh, actually, the render looks just like the actual
I know.
one.
You can't really
This is the
tell.
concept,
That's the concept.
and then
This
this
is
is
the-
the
yeah.
actual.
The concept, I think, was done by Ryan.
Yeah, I think that.
And then this is the early stage of the model, and then boom.
Yeah, it was just like it.
Oh,
You
and
really
one of
nailed it.
I know
Look
one of
at
our
that
people.
shield.
One of the people in our community makes like pieces from our art. So I'm curious if they'll make it.
I love the detailing on that. I mean,
Yeah, he made a sword to
so
go with it too.
Oh,
which
yeah, I
we'll
saw that
probably
this
show
morning.
next time.
Yeah, it's not completely ready.
It's
to
not
show.
ready, yeah. And
I
this
saw
is-
it in that thing.
This is the.
This is the Day Strider.
The Day Strider,
It's so
yeah.
it's such a strange but amazing.
So, okay,
creature.
just so you guys understand the lore behind this creature, right, is this guy, this Day Strider, they live and evolved in an area where there are these little tiny monsters that live in these tall nests that are kind of like termite nests. And the Day Strider walks up with his long, snout and tongue, and he just kind of grabs them and eats them out of their home. So he's actually a beast. I mean, he's a real, he looks cute, but this is a murderous villain.
Yeah, and this
He's
is by
devouring all the
Jinsey,
tiny
just so everyone
little-
knows. Jinsey is the one that worked on this, and she actually is the one that animated it and rigged it. So
Yeah, so I think we are gonna see some animations of it too.
Oh, yeah.
They're not completely ready, but
yeah, everything's
it's so good. She did the saddle too. That's on it.
the saddle.
Yeah.
And then,
I just want you to imagine yourself in the MMO mining some
I'm ready.
ore and putting it on your Daystrider mule, and then you just get on, and he just kicks around a little bit, and he's like, "I don't want
love
to take your
him.
ore. I'm tired of taking your ore." Okay, fine, I'll take the ore.
That tail animates so well.
it just whips around. It's so cute.
Needs to be a weapon.
I like the little curl.
Yeah, the little curl. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
it's just
no,
sleeping.
It's just
Just
sleeping.
sleeping. No, it
Okay.
went to sleep.
It better be
It's
sleeping.
sleeping.
Super tired. It got tranquilized. Somebody shot it with a tranquilizer arrow.
What a thug. Dude, they're so awkward and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like giraffe. Giraffes are always like, I'm like, you're such a weird
It's-
creature, but I love you.
I think did Jeff concept this one?
Yeah.
Jeff's
Yeah.
really weird. Yeah, he really pushes the creatures.
I think
to-
I
when I
love
went
that,
to
though.
Jeff, I was like, think of a horse, a giraffe, and an anteater.
Yeah, nice.
And I was
He's
just
like,
like,
"All right."
let me see what you can do.
This is it in obviously not like complete, but this is kind of like our dev box where you can create and run around and stuff. So you just like
I'm just mesmerized. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at it.
I
like
know.
a lot of this stuff is like the first time I've seen it. Like I haven't seen the animations for this
so
yet.
good.
I think I told Jeff to do the same thing with the Dawnbreaker. I was like, take a gorilla, a bear, a moth, and an owl,
And he's like, all right,
and
man.
let me see what you can do.
Yeah,
I
passed
love
that
what
one,
he's
too.
doing. It's amazing. I want to see little baby ones running around. They're probably gonna be so adorable.
They actually, their legs
Tristan
don't
will do
grow
that.
long until they get into adolescent age. So the actual baby ones are really like short.
But they have big noses.
Oh yeah, they're little big noses. They can barely
Oh.
they can barely walk
They're
because they
like,
trip over their
moles.
noses. Yes,
like little
exactly.
mole. Oh, this guy. You remember this guy, you guys? Our creepy dude. His eyes are so.
I don't know
scary.
what he's called, but Carson is currently working on. He's almost done. Here's the model process.
Don't.
This is by one of our character
Twitch.
artists.
Don't TOS us. It's fine.
Why? What happened?
Cause he's like kind of naked.
Oh no, he's not.
And we,
No.
we there's a booty.
I mean, they don't have naughty parts.
You don't
that-
have naughty parts.
Yeah, they're actually asexual. They breed by mitosis. They just they split in half.
That's
exactly.
so creepy.
They blow themselves up.
Yeah, if they get hit by water after midnight.
Copyright.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this
So-
was part of our July monthly cosmetics, and he's just so awesome. I want to do a lot of like downtime messaging and things with him because like he can cause a lot of trouble with his fireworks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Basically, these guys help with like the annual fireworks every year, and
These guys do?
yeah, you remember?
Oh yeah.
They work with the
They work with the wizards.
the
The
wizards.
pyromancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Carson. Like I was saying earlier, he was
He's got a mole on his
mostly
butt.
he was mostly a weapons guy, and we've tasked him to doing characters, and
He's killing it.
Yeah, they're coming out really good.
I think was the first one the pangolin.
Yeah, the first one was a
Or
penguin,
not
but this is
penguin, the
much
quarter,
more
I keep saying.
human
Yeah, everyone
and
keeps
much
saying.
harder to do actual like real anatomy and fat
Oh, yeah.
rolls and stuff like that. And he really
It looks like the concept.
yeah, he really
It's
hits the
really good.
concept.
Did it.
I just look at that.
It's so good.
Oh, that is good.
Obviously, it's not completely done, so when it is, we'll definitely show you guys.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
And then we'll have some animation of him, and I want to definitely see some fireworks stuff action going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas going around about what to do with him if we put him in either siege mode or like just
I want
walking
him to
around.
waddle. Like I just imagine him waddling in his little jiggles.
So one of the cool things in the siege mode is that when those objectives get taken, they deploy crates that you can use for the siege weaponry and whatnot. I would love to see us be able to spawn this guy next to the objective, and he like grabs the box and like lifts it and puts it down for you.
Oh, that's cute. That'd be cute. Yeah, I
Accidentally
would
blows
like
him
that.
up.
I know. At the end of him putting it down, just
That would be funny. I kind of love it.
Yeah, so
Do
I
it,
mean,
do it, Jeff. Do it. Make it happen.
So nonstop work from us, like just continuing cranking on all the MMO stuff that people really love to see. So
Yeah, and a lot of stuff they can't show too, so it's things that
Yeah,
as we get
all the
closer.
race stuff and all the
race stuff's
yeah.
really cool. I know you've
Soon.
gotten to work on a lot
Soon.
of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm working on one of the Elder Dragons.
I can't wait to show off your dwarves.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
dwarves.
the
Yeah,
doors look really good.
they almost made Siege.
Oh, so close.
So close.
Oh well, next time.
But yeah, how like what's your favorite thing that you've gotten to work on so far?
I don't even know. I mean, everything's been like crazy because we've been switching from monster to armor and back and forth. And right now I'm working on like an Elder Dragon. He's coming out really cool. I just had some spare time, so I'm just like, I'll make a dragon. So you'll probably see him in like a month. I want to get him animated before anyone sees him. So.
Yeah, so we have sprints and like everyone has their tasks, but if you have like a little left over, you can kind of grab what you want to do instead of what's in the sprint, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's as long as you move fast, you
can
do your own stuff. So.
So thank you so much, Keith,
Thank
for
you.
joining us and for filling in
Thanks,
for Chris.
Keith.
on
Yeah, no
last
problem.
minute
Bye,
notice.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
And then I think we've got little Toasterinos coming to join us. I'm excited.
Toast is joining us?
Toast is joining us.
Yay!
So we've been doing some giveaways in chat while we're waiting for her to come over here. I don't remember what the giveaway tag is because she made it while I was in here. But you can go ahead and plop that into chat. There's all kinds of little things that we'll be giving away throughout the stream. So we hope you have been enjoying our little Halloween session. At the end, I think we're going to try to get as many people as we can in here.
What?
For fun.
Another person before me.
No.
We're going to show them.
Well, we swapped
Kill Jeff.
Akil and Jeff. And so I was like, well, why not do design first?
Okay.
Because he was sitting there. It'd be weird. Come on in. I want people to see you.
Hold on.
Oh, no, I want to do it.
Oh, you want to turn it
Yeah,
on?
I want to do it.
Hey,
She
guys.
has a light. Look at this.
Does it show up?
Hey!
So good.
You're a flangler.
I figured it was only appropriate since my last name is Flanagan that for my
love it
first
so
Halloween
much.
costume I had to do something themed and it was already perfect.
It's
Thank
so
you.
The Flanagan Flangler.
So good.
So it actually lights up as a little book lamp on top. So
it did work. The thing that I said that I told you to
that's a little
grab.
thing. So this is an applesauce cup.
Yeah, I
top.
found these like cup things that go over like old like food
stuff to
and
save
stuff,
free.
and I was like, this would be perfect for what you're going for, and she's like, yes.
There we go. So with a little bit of engineering and a $15 book light from Amazon, I'm now Flangler.
That
It's
is
so
awesome.
good. It's so good.
I love it.
Thank you guys for having me on for this stream. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy
I actually am
Halloween.
so happy. I think this is the first time I get to be like on this.
This is true.
with
First time we were
Sarah.
on together. I think last time we swapped out. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be on because we've been having this glorious gourd contest going on all month for Halloween, and there have been so many amazing entries. It was really hard to pick the winners, but I think it's time to announce
Yes.
the winners.
We've had everybody in the team vote. We had
Yes.
a little scale for each of the different criterias, and
Yes.
people submitted their votes. So these are the ones we're gonna go from.
Yes, we're going to start with
Yeah.
the third place. So first things first, thank you again to Corsair for providing all of the prizing for this contest for us. We have a whole bunch of amazing prizes. So for the third place, which is the glorious prize, this one goes to M-Cake. Congratulations to M-Cake. This one was amazing. We've got the mask from the Armor of the Autumn Night on it.
Yes, and fun story with M-Cake. They actually made an initial one, but they forgot to put their little card in front, and messaged me and was like, "Can I submit this and take a picture of my card separate?" And I was like, "No, unfortunately, like this is the
Gotta
rules,
do
and
it
you
one-
have to
all
do
one.
it the way, otherwise it's disqualified." And they were like really upset about it, but they were like, "You know what? I'm gonna do another one," and I'm like, "Awesome!" And this turned out
There you
great.
go.
Hopefully the practice round was worth
There
it
you
to
go.
make it into the.
I mean, it is very, very intricate. So
It's so
congratulations
good.
again, M-Cake. You have won our third prize, the glorious prize, which means you are going home with the Corsair M65 RGB Elite Tunable FPS gaming mouse, alongside a Corsair MM350 Champion Series mouse pad that is extra large. And we're also going to sign it
everyone's gonna
for you.
sign it,
Yes, we're
yeah.
going to take it out for you. And we're going to sign it here in the office for you from everyone at the office, and we'll send it off your way. So congratulations to M-Cake. cake for glorious
Congrats.
prize.
Yay.
And second prize is our
place
gorgeous
was very
prize.
close.
This was very tough between
This was-
second and first place.
Yeah, second and first place was like,
Very tight.
how many was the count between the difference?
It was really only a couple points between
Yeah,
the
it
two
was like
of them when
2
it came down to
points.
it. Or like
So-
the averages were very close to each other.
And I think they had the same points in one of the categories.
Exactly. These
So-
are both like really, really high for creativity and originality. So our gorgeous prize, drum roll please,
Drum
goes
roll.
to Malfun and the Emberstorm Dragon Pumpkin featuring a little pumpkin sandal on the side.
The pumpkin
too.
sandal, look at it. It's
I
so
know,
cute.
that's
Side
great.
little
It's
added
so
bonus.
good.
So yes, those
And I
little-
love how people decorated the background.
the area around it.
around
Yes,
it,
a lot
too.
of people took a lot of time to decorate the area around their pumpkin to do a little something special around their digital template. So it was super cute to see all those come out.
Yeah.
So
That's
Malfun.
What does Malfun win?
That's
Malfun is
very
winning the 2 prizes we mentioned earlier, that FPS gaming mouse and the extra large mouse pad, along with a Corsair Void RGB Elite USB premium gaming headset. So now you can listen to your teammates, talk to your teammates, eat a delicious Emberstorm Dragon pumpkin. and
Look
play
at the
video
neck
games.
on that. They did a really good job.
Well, all
Yeah,
the
that's
detailing
very,
and the
very
teeth
sparkly,
and the
shiny.
eyes.
That's a tough one.
Someone
Yeah.
you clearly had an easier time carving those teeth than I did drawing teeth on myself this morning. Good job, Malfun.
Does the dragon wear the sandal?
No, I think it's just a bonus.
Oh, just a
bonus
bonus.
sandal. It's no. You smack the dragon with the sandal.
Oh, it's like it's training whip.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I know. Sarah looks horrified.
I'm just like, I'm trying to imagine how a dragon would fit
wears
in a
sandals?
flip flop.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
it
it
would
wears
be
the
really
sandals?
hard.
Dragons are very
It's a
naturally
claws.
an intelligent creature, so I'd imagine that they would only be interested in the best footwear, which obviously would be
Would be flip flops.
a flip flop.
Steven. What if its human form is
Oh yeah,
It-
in its
it-
human
it's
form.
human
Yeah,
form,
that's
yeah.
a good call.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So
The sandal of power.
we have the last one to announce
Oh,
is our
it's so
grand
good.
prize winner. This one went above and beyond in terms of taking the pumpkin medium to the next level. Our grand prize winner, drum roll please, is Oddjob. Oddjob's castle pumpkin kicked butt. Look at that
That's
pumpkin.
so cool.
It's amazing. It's got little turrets on top of it.
There's
it
a
has
windmill in the
flags.
background.
There's a windmill. There's a whole castle.
Wow.
There's
very intricate
little flags on the castle. There's a little flag on the castle too.
Yes, and there is a sneak windmill boss in the background that I was told. That's the secret windmill boss.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like,
there's.
there's a little windmill in the background.
So, Oddjob, congratulations, our grand prize winner, along with the gaming mouse and the extra large mouse pad that's signed by us and the gaming headset. You are also going to go home with the Corsair K68 RGB rapid fire mechanical gaming keyboard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Congrats, Oddjob.
What type of
Congrats.
destruction mechanics are you going to be using on that castle?
Oh, you need to take a video of
Be
it
like
being
Ajax,
destroyed.
yeah.
Throwing it out a
Yeah,
window
throwing it or
afterwards.
like taking a hammer and smashing
Look at
it.
my destruction mechanics.
It looks amazing.
No, don't
really
destroy
good.
it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
it's
Keep
beautiful.
it forever. Let it rot and fall.
One
apart.
year, my friends and I, when I was in high school, I think we filled a bunch of pumpkin. Nobody do this at home.
Oh, God, what is this story?
We let a bunch of pumpkins soak in gasoline and filled them with gunpowder, and then
Oh,
we took
God,
them,
why
we
would
took
you
them out
do
into the
that?
desert, and we put a little line from them,
Oh,
and we
my
lit
God.
a bottle rocket, and it went down the line, and the pumpkin just exploded.
That would probably look really
we
good
did
in
that
slow-mo.
all night. Yeah,
I would have fun videotaping that.
I think we soaked some like teddy bears in gasoline too and lit
What?
those. I
That's
don't know. Yeah, it was a little pyro-y. But...
Poor Jeff sitting
Jeff,
over
yeah,
here in the
Jeff
corner
looks
like,
so sad.
Oh, Jeff, you're a bear.
Oh, Jeff, you're.
Alright.
This is foreshadowing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
All right.
kidding.
Well, congratulations again to
The end
our,
of the stream is going to
our-
be a fiery bear action.
our 3 winners, Cake, Malfin, and Oddjob. There were a couple of honorable mentions we also wanted to show off as well because there were some that were just
They're
so
so
amazing,
good.
but they didn't quite make the top 3 prizes. This is Elaria's Griffin Pumpkin, the Griffin,
good.
or Phoenix maybe. Griffin, Phoenix. I think it's a.
That's Phoenix.
That's Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's a phoenix.
There you go. Phoenix with a
Nice, very nice,
with a
Eloria.
flip flop in his mouth.
Alright.
And then totally not biased or anything, but I loved Lithic's pumpkin as well. you may notice something in common.
Oh, it's a
These were
flangler.
actually the next runner.
And you're a
runner-up,
flangler.
So.
Yes.
But look at the teeth; they look so
Yes,
good, and they
lots of
added
teeth.
the little light on
little
the
pumpkin on
thing.
top. Yes, it was a very cute iteration. And then the last one, this was an amazing digital submission that came in. There's actually a full piece of art that only kind of got cropped into this pumpkin.
Oh,
but
look at Bacon's in there.
they took all of our faces and dressed us up as little Halloween things
Oh.
and put us inside the pumpkin.
Toast
You have
has a-
ketchup on you in the full version. I'll
And
have
there's
to
little
show you.
sandal
There's
monsters.
tiny little.
I have
monsters.
ketchup on me.
You are ketchup. You are
I
a
do
ketchup
like
bottle.
ketchup.
Yes, you are a
What is the
bottle.
ketchup? What is the ketchup reference?
I think one time I went to breakfast and I put some ketchup on my like eggs or something, and I posted it in Discord. And I guess it was a lot of ketchup. Personally, I didn't think it was, but it was a lot. And yeah,
So now you are a ketchup monster.
Yeah, I'm a ketchup monster.
I was turned into Toast. Maggie's a cat. Bacon to Santa.
And
Jeff's
someone
in
took a
his-
bite out of Toast.
Yes, someone took a bite out of me, unfortunately. So those were our 3 honorable mentions. El Rayalific, Aloe Vera, again, amazing entries. Thank you to everyone who entered our glorious board contest.
Yes.
Um,
And it was fun. Like Toast and I were like watching the thread as it was filling up with stuff. We're like, oh, this is so good.
For sure.
And obviously we weren't able to share all of them,
Yes.
but you can go check out the thread up on the forums.
Forum thread's still up there.
Yeah.
You can see them all up there. Lots of very cool digital and physical submissions. We didn't get a chance to show them all, but if you want to check them out, they're all on that forum
Yes,
thread
you
too.
definitely
Just
should
take a
because
look.
it's good stuff.
So congrats to our winners! Woohoo!
yeah.
That's not all.
That's not all.
Yes.
That's not all in the community end. We've also been kicking off a play of the week for Apocalypse every week, which has been really fun. Since you guys have been playing Apocalypse and sharing all your crazy clips with us on social media, we've been gathering some of those from you guys on the forums as well. So last week we featured our first play of the week, which was Blue Boo. So I think we have maybe that one ready to feature for you guys again. Here, we'll take a look at that.
Here we go.
No one.
This is
escapes from the
crazy.
Blue Boo.
This clip.
Just doesn't. Just
What is this?
Watch.
quick little and boop.
It's so
Right
cool.
over-
Like he hits the wall and just like.
Right as he's trying to escape.
It
over
was
the
hard.
wall.
There were like 3 top submissions
Yes.
at the end when we were voting, and like we're like, oh, but that hit on the wall is
just one. His
it's
enemy was so close to
good.
thinking he was gonna get away, but one little last headshot right at the end.
Yeah.
So that's why Blue Boo was our play of the week last week. Blue Boo,
Very
thank you for
cool.
submitting that.
And then did you have another one?
I
that you
do.
wanted?
I have one. This is the one from this week, and this one is from A Rising Sun, who has submitted
Oh,
quite
is
a
this
few
one
clips
going to
as
be
well.
announced tomorrow?
Yes, he will see
Oh,
this one
so
tomorrow.
this
as
is
well.
like a
This
little
is
sneak peek.
preview of what the,
Okay.
of what the play of the week is for tomorrow. And this one is A Rising Sun with a scepter swap for the win. Pop.
Yes!
Sun has-
We did it!
Oh,
Woo!
wow.
Oh, that's how we do it! You're
Been
dead in the
farming
storm,
clips.
bro!
Like,
I know.
basically, his goal
We
has
just
been to
swapped
do
places and he
crazy-
died in the storm.
So he was the runner-up for last week's, which he did a 360
No scope.
miasma
Miasma shot.
miasma shot. It was really, and he got 3 kills,
Yes.
and it was insane.
No, okay, hang on.
It was pretty good, yeah.
This is it.
Steve,
Where are you at?
No.
I mean, you can watch his stream.
Yeah, he's
really trying
the
to
whole time,
do.
and he's talking the whole time.
Yeah. and
Yes!
I've been
We
watching
did
the
it!
stream, like,
Woo!
I did one thing where
Oh,
I was
that's how we
like,
do
alright,
it! You're
win
dead
this
in the
game,
storm,
I'll
bro!
give you,
We just swapped places and he died in the
Armor of
storm.
the
the armor of the
Sun.
Golden Sun.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Which,
right.
by the
So
way,
he did. He was
I
like, the
think
pressure's on. He's
giveaway-
like, all right.
I'm not at my desk right now, so no one is in chat, but that giveaway should still be going on until 12:15 p.m. So you can still type, I think it's AOC Spooky in chat, and that gets you the armor.
You only
of the
need to
Golden
type it
Sun. You only
once.
need to type it once.
Yes.
Yes, and you will get a whisper once you have entered, so you'll know you're in, and then you don't have to type it again.
Perfect. And I think I'm gonna be actually
You are stepping out?
hopping out of here, and
All right, we're swapping
we're
to
gonna
the
swap
Q&A.
into the Q&A, and Toast is gonna take over the host. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really had an awesome time, and I'll try to gather some of the people who have costumes on, and we'll bring them all in at the end, so you guys can check out all the stuff that they've got going on
Are you
here at the
gonna
office.
go gather everyone
I think we're
up?
gonna do a big photo too with everybody. So if you
sure.
follow us on social, you'll get to check that out as well. And we have a massive feast. Everyone's been bringing in.
Oh my
we do like a
goodness.
monthly potluck, and this time it's Halloween themed. So
Since
yeah.
we're already a little bit past the usual time, how many of these questions do you think we want to get to
You
today?
go through as many as you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's up
Cool.
to y'all.
All
right.
right. You want me to shift to the
Bye.
middle?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Jen, you want to come
Bye,
back in?
Margaret.
I'll protect you, Jeff. I'll bring a fire extinguisher. Keep Steven at
I'll
bay.
sit in between the two of you. So
What did I do?
Fire.
You threatened to set me on fire.
There will be no fires. No one will light anyone else on fire.
So I saw somebody said that that's the reason why we have forest fires in California is because of what I did with the pumpkins. But to be fair,
He's
No,
doing it
you
in the
said
desert.
in the desert.
I was in the
To be very
desert. So
clear.
in California, there's a lot of desert, and
Yes.
I
Real
used
hard to set anything on fire. out there.
Exactly. Actually, a bunch of my friends and I, we would go out with a bunch of paintball guns, and we would actually do Civil War paintball, where we'd line up across from each other, take the hopper off, and we would just load one paintball at a time and shoot it.
Old timey.
Old
Yes.
timey.
Old timey, yeah.
Did you have to like muzzle
You weren't
load
allowed
it and
to.
tamp
You
it?
weren't allowed to break the line, right? You had to stay
Right.
in formation. I accidentally one time shot a kid in the eye. That was unfortunate.
Did you
But it
not
was
have to
his
wear
fault.
safety
No,
gear?
you did. And what happened?
It was his fault.
Well, what happened was we
safety.
were in these trenches because there's flash floods out there. So in the desert, it makes these trenches. And I had shot him, and he started to leave. You're supposed to get out of the trench and walk up the thing, and you take your helmet off when you get to the top. But he took it off at the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still
That
shot
was
him in the
his
eye
own
though.
fault.
Well, it was slow motion actually. The paintball curved, it curved up. It was
Wow.
crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was like
It
a
was
homing
black
eye.
hole
It
eye.
was magnetic.
I had to wear an iPad for like 6 months. I felt horrible. Oh well. Fun stories. Sorry.
And
The desert does weird things to people.
yes, that is not why the state of California is on fire. But there is lots of California on fire. So
That's true.
fingers crossed everyone is staying safe.
Yes.
Yes, without further ado, our last segment here for the stream is going to be our usual community Q&A. Thank you guys all for submitting questions on the forums like you have in the past. As a heads up, if you submitted a bunch of questions on the forums, I passed over your questions. Like I mentioned, please only submit one so that we can get lots of questions from lots of people. So if you want to make sure your question is answered in the future, please make sure to keep it to one question on the forums.
I can barely wait.
All right. Magic Man asks, are there plans to make blocking more responsive in Apocalypse to make combat more skill-based? And if so, how would that integrate into the hybrid system in the MMORPG?
The blocking system currently, we have a networking issue when it comes to blocking and trying to do blocks that are, sort of frame perfect. So we played around with making that work, but it was difficult with different, lag situations that you might find yourself in to make it universally responsive in all cases. Again, we're not exactly working on a Street Fighter type of game or a fighting game like that. So our network needs are a little bit different than that. So probably not in that case, but we do want blocking to be a strategic thing that you use throughout, and we'll continue to be looking at it and tuning it.
Kaywin asks, what RPG elements can a player choose at character creation, such as a birth sign or faction reputations?
There is going to be a limited amount of stuff that you can choose, and we're still kind of figuring out what that's going to be and what the gameplay implications might be for that kind of stuff. We have to be careful in terms of how much we put out there and how meaningful it is, because you are starting from scratch, right? You are arriving in this place and you are one of the first to arrive there. So, we kind of want you to start tabula rasa and kind of figure out where you're going to go from there. Yep. But certainly what you did beforehand might be something that we encourage. So before you go through the portal, we might give you some options.
Something that's indicative of the life you had before Vera, right? But a lot of the decisions you make in Vera will be experienced while you're in the game and not necessarily the character select.
Right.
Fair enough. All right, next question from Neris asks, what sort of equipment will be available for mounts, and who will this be crafted by?
So they'll have standardized type of equipment. You'll have a saddle, you'll have the barding, you'll have, barding will probably be split into 3 different types. You'll have body, head, and leggings.
I'm imagining a horse's leggings now.
Absolutely, they have shin
they got the
guards.
shin guards.
and
No,
all that kind of
I'm
stuff.
just imagining a horse with leggings.
Pants.
Like yoga
pants.
pants.
Oh, I see.
Like left back pants.
Some Lululemon.
Well, they might like that. But no, it is going to have some barding that's going to be available. This will be craftable. It'll be attained also by a quest as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there will be people who will be able to craft that kind of equipment.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, very cool. All right, Mogwai asks, will player-owned shops only be available in economic nodes?
No. They will be available everywhere, but economic nodes will have more of them available. Well, at least more of them available for the mayor to choose to build. Every city we want to have at least some sort of economic activity in. It's just that the sort of global activity happens at economic nodes. So
And you have
anything-
to define, I think, between what are player shops, basically, where you can sit down in the designated area of the node and open up your shop
your
on
stall,
your stall. And then there are rentable ones, and those, I believe, the rentable ones are in marketplaces,
In the
as you
economic
described in the
nodes.
economic
Yep,
nodes.
exactly. Perfect. Okay, cool. Thank you for clearing that up. All right, next one is from Wololo asks, will it be possible to stow your weapons? So keeping it on your back.
Can you have a bow and
Spear
spear on your back at the same time?
yeah.
Very likely no. You will be able to stow your weapons, right? Like that is definitely an option we want to give you guys. But in terms of stacking rules, we'll probably have some options for you to set in terms of what shows and what doesn't on your back. But it gets real complicated and sort of gross to try to accommodate like all of the different types of weapons stacking on top of each other. So want to make sure that silhouette still looks good and clean.
For sure. Unknown System Error asks, as we know costumes won't be gender locked, will a dress still appear in-game on the cosmetic paper doll of the male character as a dress? So if I see a wedding dress, I put it on as my male character. Am I still wearing a wedding dress, or does it transform into a tuxedo?
It transforms into, well, no, the wedding dress would not be equipable, or it would transform into a tuxedo. Sorry, it would be a formal wear, I
Yeah,
think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
it'll be one item that you equip depending on who you are.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Doran Live asks, will we be able to control the camera in the MMO in such a way as to set up screenshots and pictures? So kind of like
absolutely.
pulling back a camera or like saving a camera.
okay.
Because the example they
see what you're
share
talking about.
specifically was like Assassin's Creed Origins, which actually lets you like pull the camera away and pause
start.
and like re-angle stuff versus just like hide the UI and
I
maybe
see.
do camera angles.
I see. That I'm not entirely sure about. There are some gameplay implications to that. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where we're going to go with that.
Ah, that's true. If it gave you an unfair advantage
Right.
in being able to see someone else come.
So one thing that you would likely, so you won't be able to do that, I don't think, in real time in the game. However, we will likely have a recording tool that will allow you to record gameplay
Right.
session. And in the recording tool, you can go back in your recorded sessions and you'll be able to free
Right.
fly camera mode there.
Right.
There you go.
So in real time, no, but recording tool, yes.
Very cool. All right. Thank you for that. And then next up, skip over. Let's go to Ashbourne asks, if there are to be legendary weapons and armor that few can attain, how much of the rare equipment that Intrepid makes are we expected to see within the first year of the MMO? And will items be continuously rotated?
That's going to totally depend on what the players do, so it's kind of hard to guess. I don't know how to answer that, and I don't want to necessarily.
Venture a...
Yeah, I want the people to discover that.
Yeah.
These are going to be kind of pretty unique events that they're around, but
I mean, as a base philosophy to that question, we're making things that we want to be attainable, obviously, right? But we want to make sure that the effort required to attain certain legendary things is monumental. It is very difficult to do. So,
and that is something that you discover too.
Right.
And depending on the node situation of any given server, right? Some legendary equipment just won't be available to that server.
correct. Yeah.
They'll never
But
go
others
down
might.
that particular
Right.
path,
Others
right?
will, yeah.
They may never take those particular steps
Right.
that unlocks that. Okay. Next question is from TBC Nation, who asks, what lessons has Ashes of Creation learned from the AAU launch in terms of server availability and stability? So as we look
It's
at
a big
other
question.
games-
Yeah, that's a big
That's a big
question,
question.
and it's we don't want to necessarily even point to specifically AAU, but I think as players we've all experienced the launches of MMOs, and to be honest, most of the time they're not very smooth.
They're pretty tough.
They're pretty tough, and I think that's really more indicative of just the sheer endeavor it is to make an MMORPG rather than the competency level of a particular
Studio.
team or
Yeah.
studio. It is a feat. So, we love our friends over at the Arcade team at XL, at Tryon, at GameAgo, and all the other studios that endeavor to make great games. I think part of it is understanding on the player side, setting the right expectations. And you know, I was a player first, right? Before I even entered the industry, I played MMO since I was 7 years old. Most of us are, right? And you know, as you get more insight to what really the development process is for these scale of games, you can have a much better understanding of just what goes into making them and how certain things that you don't know can happen. You know, you don't know the things you don't know necessarily, and
That's the biggest danger of all.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
And the MMO is huge, right? So there's a lot of things to not know.
Right. But what I would say is, you know, we try to take every bit of information we can from our personal experiences, from watching other studios, other games, from launching, you know, early access for APOC. We you know, we try to take those experiences and we try to learn as much as we can from them, and we try to prepare based on what we've learned, right? And you know, we got a lot of flack for doing APOC, but in reality, you know, what APOC provided was an ability for us to discover those unknowns without having to do so on the MMORPG side. So we get to discover unknowns that, you know, we will now include in our preparations and planning and development for as we bring you guys what our flagship product is, the MMORPG, right? That's what we're all in it for, is the MMO.
It's a low commitment thing for us, but we get so much good information out of it.
Well, that dovetails lovely into the next question, which is from Zen and Taya, who asks, what information are you currently gathering from the Apocalypse Battle Royale mode, and how is this information helping you to develop the MMORPG?
So we are gathering an incredible amount of information. It's really tough to describe just how big our logging schema is in terms of the kind of data that we're gathering, both on like the combat side and the sort of match side of things. And then, and we're talking about like nitty gritty stuff, like each individual attack we track. We track, you know, the accuracy of any given attack, what players have high accuracy, what weapons have low accuracy.
What about like timing stuff, like the times during matches when certain things happen?
Right, so we can see exactly like how many people are dying over time on average across 100 matches, and we use that data to sort of figure out what the health of the game is, right? And so that's the kind of the logging on the player-facing side, and we take all of that information, and you know, part of it is just the information itself. How do we parse this data? What data is actually useful and what data isn't?
Learning what data we actually need, and maybe don't necessarily.
What data is it where we just being overkill on?
Yeah,
Is this not really useful at all? Does it tell a story? And if it doesn't, then we can get rid of it, and you know, we can optimize our servers based on that. And then also we have the networking side of things and the account side of things. So all of that stuff we're logging at a very, you know, granular level to sort of determine like where are our bottlenecks, what things are we failing on, what things are we doing well. So I mean, it's tough to kind of break it down on a piece by piece basis just because there's so much of it. But what was the actual question?
And how's this information helping you develop the MMORPG?
So all of this goes into the MMORPG in that once we solve these problems are solved for the MMORPG. Right. We know how to go forward with that. They are no longer the unknowns that we were talking about before. They become knowns. And that's sort of trying to surface as many of those unknowns as we can, and then can go forward with that.
Very cool. Was there any like specific example for something?
I think the biggest solution was from last December, you know, having to re-architect a lot of the back-end systems. You know, those are foundational systems. So as you build stuff on top of them, it becomes more difficult to rebuild that foundation. And, you know, having an MMO testing atmosphere requires a lot of systems be built in order to be representative of what we want the MMO testing to actually reflect for us to gather information. So Apocalypse allowed us to test foundationally a lot of those systems before needing to build layered on top of it an entire MMO alpha.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about just like the ability system, right? Like the ability system is dependent on our networking system, on our server architecture to work and function the way that we want it to, in order to feel responsive, in order to, you know, kind of erase that feeling of lag when you're playing on a network environment.
Right.
All that stuff has to change if the underlying stuff changes.
And the other thing is, you know, a lot of what APOC did, and I don't want to say necessarily, and I'll just replace the word APOC with testing, because a lot of what testing does, especially for us with the action combat side of things, is an MMORPG's latency requirement is a lot different than an action-oriented game's latency requirement. And there's things you can get away with differently from in an MMORPG that you can't necessarily get away with in an entirely action-based
When
game.
every attack takes 2 seconds to pull off, there's a
Exactly.
lot of leeway there.
Right. So, in our objective to create a hybrid combat system, we now need to raise the bar of that kind of latency expectation to exist in an action atmosphere.
Right.
Because if the bare minimum of your latency requirement is action combat, then everything has to be revolved around
Right,
that.
because when you click that mouse button, something needs to
Yes,
happen.
exactly.
And if you don't get that immediate response, it's going to feel laggy and it's not going to feel great.
Yep.
For sure. Okay, so we are running super over now, but I think we can get maybe through a couple more questions here and then we will wrap up the stream. The next one is from Digital Wind, who says, will large ships be able to be modded to offer many of the amenities of guild halls, freeholds, and other services, or will they function as purely a means of transportation and combat platforms?
Floating guild hall.
Yeah, like a floating guild
That's
hall,
really cool.
floating free, or well, like, can I put a workbench on my ship, or is it just a means?
So they won't be
money?
pure transportation and combat. There will be, functions that will require the use of particular types of ships in order to achieve an end goal. So, they'll have some utility, they'll have some ancillary functions as well. Whether or not it would be a floating guild hall, probably not.
We want guild halls to be fixed places.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is from Cheshire, who asks, does the biome of a node also affect the aesthetics of it? So, for example, would an elven swamp node look the same as an elven beach node?
No.
Or does the environment also impact the
The environment is a
structures,
variable.
the design?
The environment is a variable in the equation of a node's appearance.
Right.
So they do influence a lot of things.
Right. And depending on, the race you're talking about, they'll incorporate it in different ways.
All right, let me see if there's any other quick ones I can grab off of here. Rocco asks, do dyes expire?
I don't think so. Steven?
So what's the question?
Do dyes expire? Like
No, dyes do not expire.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once it's used, it's there.
Yes.
It's not going to go away after.
Oh no, I'm sorry. When I was thinking
they
of
were saying-
thinking of like the dye item in your inventory doesn't go away after a period of time, and then if you apply it to your skin, it'll stay there unless you reapply a new dye.
Right.
Got it. Okay. I think they were asking like, if the durability of my item drops, do I have to re-dye
Got
it?
it.
No, it would stay with the dye
Right.
that you had until you applied a new dye. Okay.
Although I do like that idea.
Don't give them any dye. Don't give them any ideas.
I mean, there should be consequences if you let your
Fair enough.
durability go
if
to
you let
zero.
your stuff go to
Yeah.
go to poop. All right, last question here will be from Raghind, who asks, there is a royal mount, or sorry, our apologies. This one is from Athean. Will there be any class or race specific mounts in the game?
There will be mounts that are associated with certain classes and races. I don't know that we'll necessarily lock them out from other races or classes being able to use them.
Right.
That's not our philosophy, but there will certainly be types of mounts that are associated with types of characters.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, if you're a human, right, and you start in the human, gateway return to to Vera, your obtain a mount quest might be more related to horses.
Right.
Because that's what's in the local area.
Exactly. If you are a Renkai or a Vec and you start near your starting area, your might be like a racing turtle or something.
Right.
Right.
Or a galaxy turtle.
Or a galaxy turtle.
Space
Well, but
Maybe not a galaxy,
Not a galaxy
but-
one, though.
Just a regular turtle. You
Yeah,
gotta work
regular.
your way up to the galaxy.
But anybody can achieve those.
Right.
So, no.
All right, very cool. Thank you for helping answer those questions, and thank you again for everyone in the community who submitted to that Q&A. We didn't get a chance to go through all the questions this time because we're super over already.
Super
but this
over.
is-
Half hour over.
We have so much potluck stuff upstairs to eat.
I know, I
want to
can
let you
smell
guys
it.
go
It's
eat
really
it.
good.
I'm so hungry.
So for sure, I want to let you guys get to that. So thank you all again for submitting your questions. We'll do this again next month, so you can submit your questions again. And like I mentioned, make sure that you are only submitting one question, so we can make sure to answer questions for more people.
And
Yes.
don't forget.
Yes, we got some last minute reminders.
Yes.
Yes, you've got the Extra Life live stream coming up. You want to give one
Yes.
people a last minute reminder
Yeah.
about that? That's
You gotta watch it. It's
Saturday.
a lot of fun.
Saturday
That's
at
gonna be
10 a.m.
Saturday at 10 a.m. until
Make sure
Sunday
to
at
tune
10
in.
a.m.
Come hang out with us. We need your support. This is
That'll be
for,
here on this channel,
It's
right?
for the children.
It is for the children. For
Right,
children.
we don't have any fun doing this at all. We don't
Definitely
look
not.
forward to it. It's really mainly just for the children. So make sure you guys are there supporting
For sure.
the children.
So yes, thank you. Please join us for that, for the Extra Live stream. And today is also your last day to get that Autumn Night, the Armor of the Autumn Night.
Make
so
sure you grab it.
by 11:59 p.m. PDT tonight, after you're done trick-or-treating, hop back on, get to level 50, make sure you get that Armor of the Autumn Night before it disappears, and you'll get that for reaching level 50 in Apocalypse, and then you get to use that in the MMO as well.
Good luck, you guys.
Yes, good luck. Let everyone get to level 50. And thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for everyone for joining us here on the stream as well. We had Jeff on, we had Keith, we had Bacon, we had a couple of other faces. So thank you all for joining us. We will be posting the VOD for this like we do every time on YouTube afterwards. And you can always follow us on all of the usual spots below at Ashes of Creation. So that's where you can see us. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We'll see you next.
Thanks
Thanks everybody.
Happy Halloween.